brought the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Lining up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed. Skipping out, no, I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth, the Power, the Progressive News Show with Let's Be S3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Anna Hart, along with Thea. And as you can see, this is the continuation of the Dred Scott versus Sanford, the worst U.S. Supreme Court decision in history, part 2, where we will finish off everything all the way to the end. The second hour is, let me see, we have a Am I the A-hole? We have a positive story of the week. We have a real or not. We do not have a video of the week, but we do have Foxy's video of the week. So we're semi-jam-packed the second hour. And with that, you know how we always shoot the breeze the first 10 minutes to get it all out of our system. And let me go first. I'm going to be hurting tomorrow.
Uh-oh. What happened?
New countertops tomorrow morning, which means I had to take out the kitchen sink by myself because of a family emergency. No big deal. Everything is taken care of, but Foxy wasn't here to help me. So I'm in there trying to squeeze my little skinny fat body into small crevices and turn it around in circles at a drop of a dime, while trying not to go blind from dust and debris and everything. It just trust. It's gonna be a rough night tonight.
So they're bringing you countertops, but they don't. You must not have paid for the install.
No, they're installing the countertop, but they won't remove the sink. I have to remove the sink. Yeah, I thought it was weird too. Yep.
How did they get the measurements for your sink to make sure that the countertops are going to fit the sink?
I didn't set this up. Hey, Cap, I didn't set this up. Foxy set it up. Whatever.
Having just dealt with these insurance folks, I'm like, these are the questions that come up after the fact.
Because I was just saying, like, okay, we got to do it because they're coming tomorrow morning. Okay. So that was my evening that I just did an hour and a half ago.
Well, hey, I got to give you props.
Advil before bed?
Yeah, I took some, and I mean, as soon as I finished, I jumped in the shower, and then I don't have any Foxy videos of the week, so I try to find like 2 more. Then where's the link? Oh my god! Okay,
super hardworking fellow you are, sir. Because if I did the sync thing, I'd have been done for the day. Yeah. So mad props to you.
Plumbing installation is a whole separate insurance policy. I don't know. I literally have not used our insurance yet.
I mean, for something like this, I wouldn't use insurance unless there's an insurance claim. But I'm just saying, having dealt with a water damage claim, it's like if that sink doesn't fit, then now what? They got to come back, remeasure, cut, and all that. It's just
What Foxy want, Foxy get. But at the same time, if it don't work out, you can't. How come you didn't? I'm just doing what I'm told. I did what I was told. You take it from there. You cuss out
Pick it up
everybody.
with the manager.
You,
It's not me.
cuss out everybody but me. I did what I was told. So, so that's it for me. If you see me doze off, which I ain't, cause I'm full of doggone energy from all that doggone rambling around. I'm full of energy now. Anna, how was your day?
Well, I slept through actually most of it because yesterday was a really packed day for me. And then I woke up and my family was here, so went right into visiting mode. And yeah, I love Sundays because I get to spend them with my nephew. It's one of the highlights of my week. So I had a good day. How are you, Theus?
Oh, I'm okay. I don't have as thrilling a story. I went to check out the next meetup spot for second Saturday for Core Social. So found a nice spot. So we're gonna do that in March.
Cool.
And then I came home and took a 3 hour nap and woke up with my back hurting.
Ooh.
And so now I'm sitting here on Advil and really I'm kind of ready to go back to sleep. So I sleep all weekend. It's crazy. It's every weekend I'm sleeping.
I have tomorrow off.
Yay.
Kinda yay, which means I don't have an official day off again until Memorial Day.
Oh.
But thank goodness for PTO because I am taking my birthday weekend off. My birthday does land on a Saturday. So I
You
will be
guys
taking.
have been talking about another Friday night, guys. Is there any kind of date on the horizon?
He been. What been? Who is?
It's on
You
me.
said you were up for the dog.
It's on me. It's been so busy on the Fridays that we actually have, because we do it before every holiday.
Right.
But every holiday has been something that's been going on. It's like I'm just not in. If I'm going to use my energy, let me use my energy for the weekend. Let me not use it for Friday because I just don't have it in me. So blame it on me. Don't blame it on this. Don't blame it on the alcohol. Blame it all on me.
If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. No, I get that.
But Friday night guys do exist. It'll be coming back. Plenty of time to tell things and everything, but it just hasn't been working out so far. That's all. Me and Thea's have a fell out where we can't have a show together with just one, both of us. Not yet.
Nah, ain't nothing like that. That's my brother. But yeah, it's truth be
You got
told, he's being
divorced
nice.
once.
He's being nice. It's pretty much my fault because one, I don't really stick to a recording schedule, and then I'm always trying to figure out new ways to make money, make an impact, do things like that. So my weekends don't belong to me, so it really messes things up sometimes. But
All right, 10 minutes.
Thank y'all for being so patient.
Oh, we always will be. We love you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this party started. Now, I did title this next one, The Court System in America. This may sound elementary to a lot of us, like we know the rungs of the court systems, but I had to add this because we are literally talking about the late 1800s version of the court systems in America, which is not the same as what we have right now. So let's go ahead and just get a look at what the court systems in America, the tiers of the court systems in America during the late 1800s.
Okay, so that was the end of the line for the Scots in state court. Once you reach the highest court in the state, there's nowhere else to appeal to. But that doesn't mean it's the end of possible judicial remedies. So the way the court system is set up in the United States is that it is two separate systems. A state system where there are many trial courts in a state, a court of appeals, and then a Supreme Court, though the way the courts are named differ in some states. For example, the lowest court in New York State is called the Supreme Court, and the highest court is called the Court of Appeals. So you appeal a case up from the Supreme Court to the appellate court, because I guess New York always has to be special in some way. Anyway, that state system is separate from the federal system. The federal system has district courts, then courts of appeals, and then it all appeals up to the Supreme Court of the United States. Because these are separate court systems, you can restart a case on the same issue in federal court after you've exhausted your state court options. But this is only available if you are suing based on federal law. Like, you can't go to the federal court system and be like, he trespassed on my lawn, because that's a state issue. That's a state law question between two people who live in the same state. The feds don't need to get involved. But if you're suing based on federal law, or you're suing someone from a different state about an issue that's worth over $75,000, then it can go before federal courts, because then it's between states and there's a lot of money involved, so it's worth it for the feds to get involved.
Okay, so that is just so nobody gets confused when we come, through as we watch the rest of these, and might as well, oh God. As a matter of fact, we're going to go ahead and jump into the verdict.
Anyway, so the reason why the Scots were able to bring this case in federal court was because at some point, historians have no clue how or when or why, the ownership of the Scots was transferred from Irene to her brother John Sandford, which is why the case eventually became Dred Scott v. Sanford. And John Sanford, he lived in New York. Different states. Feds can get involved now. You follow me? Great. So in district court, the Scots again claimed that they had gained freedom when living on free soil, and Sanford countered, most importantly, with the question, can a person who was of African descent, meaning they or their ancestors were brought to the United States to be enslaved, can someone like that sue in federal court at all? Because are they even citizens? At that point, the district court said the Scots could sue, that the fact of their ancestry didn't bar them from suing. However, the district court was like, you can sue, but your lawsuit, yeah, it sucks. You lose. Okay, so you know how I just explained about how in the federal court system you have district courts, then courts of appeal, then the Supreme Court? Well, those courts of appeal, they weren't created until 1891 as a means of lightening the Supreme Court's growing caseload. So at this point, it's 1854, you just have district courts and then right to the Supreme Court. So the Scots' final judicial remedy was to appeal that federal district court's decision that their lawsuit sucked up to the Supreme Court of the United States. At the Supreme Court, the Scots again argued that they had the right to sue and that Missouri's once free, always free precedent should be upheld. Sanford argued again that the Scots didn't have standing to sue, meaning they shouldn't be allowed to sue because enslaved people aren't citizens. And even if they did, the abolition of slavery made by Congress in the 1820 Missouri Compromise, which affected the territories that the Scots claimed made them free, yeah, that wasn't a valid thing for Congress to have done. Enslaved people are property, and Congress can't take away people's property like that.
Okay, so we heard these arguments yesterday. I'll just go through it again. The Scots argument is that at a point in time, they were in free states. They're using the law once free, always free in order to stop being slaves, for lack of a better term. Sanford is arguing 2 points now, I guess. One, they're not citizens in a way, so they can't even sue. Two, even if you were to quasi make them citizen enough to sue, Congress does not, the Constitution has said that you are not allowed to take property from anybody regardless of where they are in a free state or a slave state. And at that time, slaves were property. So even if we was in a free state, you can't take my property away. So that's Sanford's argument. The more we get into it, the more disgusted I am. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and get into the second part of the verdict, and then I'll let everybody speak, because the next video after that, Lord have mercy. So here's the second part of the verdict.
The final decision of the Supreme Court came down in 1857. 1857. Remember how this whole case started in 1846? Yeah, this has been going on for 11 years. And now it's 1857 and we're 4 years away from all-out civil fucking war over this very issue. So the court had a lot to say. 200 pages of things to say. I usually try to read everything for you guys before making these videos, but no. And this case was unique in that it was a 7-2 decision, but each of the 9 justices wrote their own opinions. Despite this, Chief Justice Taney's opinion is considered the majority opinion that is cited to today. And it's a damn doozy. Again, I didn't read the whole thing because holy shit, but it is clear from the decision that Taney was a staunch textualist, meaning he believed that the Constitution has to be interpreted based on the original understanding of the words at the time the Constitution was adopted. This is problematic for a whole host of reasons, not least of which being the Constitution is meant to be a living document that changes with the times. It was written in 1787, so it's old as dirt, and in the US we hold out the Constitution to be this sacred cow that's due complete and total reverence, but then the majority of the US has never actually read the Constitution, nor have we read the literal hundreds of years of judicial precedent interpreting that Constitution. In the US, we have the shortest written Constitution of any major government in the world. The shortest. The framers knew they couldn't answer every question that could ever come up, so they left things intentionally vague to allow for interpretation. Let me stop myself before this turns into more of a rant than it already is. As I was saying, Taney's opinion looked at the words citizen and we the people in the Constitution to determine whether those words applied to enslaved people of African descent at the time the Constitution was written. And he determined that there was no way this could be the case because most of the framers were enslavers in a society that didn't question slavery, which is ignoring the truth that there very much were abolitionists and disagreement over enslaving humans at the time the Constitution was written, and they clearly knew something was wrong with it considering they gave a hard deadline for the importation of people from Africa as part of the written Constitution. And Vermont had abolished slavery in 1777. There were plenty of facts he could have relied on to support the idea that formerly enslaved people should, at the very least, have the right to sue in court. This could have been a very narrow ruling about just that, but instead Taney made it a broad, sweeping ruling, likely due to outside pressures on the Supreme Court to make a determination once and for all about slavery.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave everybody else can talk. I already had my say. So far.
Some things never change. Some things never change. That's all I got for you, man. Because this is the same thing the Supreme Court does now. They've always done it throughout history. You can't go to an immoral thing expecting morality back. So I reject the entire thing. I literally just reject the entire thing. So Supreme Court, that's not my Supreme Court. That's the Supreme Court. You know what I'm saying? Constitution. Black folk been saying forever the Constitution was a piece of crap and it needs to be redone. No one ever listens to us anyway because they never have. And now all of a sudden, because the power dynamic or the level of favorability has shifted some, now you have the people of this same ilk who are now advocating for actually suspending the Constitution. So things never change. It's all about a power thing. And like I said, I reject the entire notion of property. Right? Now, we look at it as a historical thing. Well, back then they were considered what they considered us. I reject every last bit. People. Right. I reject the entirety because like even to entertain it is to validate it. Right. Like it was a bull crap position. When did I curse?
You said the effing word.
I don't think I did, but didn't. Sorry. But anyway,
I didn't remember you saying it. Anyway.
But I reject I reject that because it's all about you got to uncenter whiteness, right? The things that they were doing back then that was justified in their eyes, it's never justified in mine. So all of that is illegitimate. The court's illegitimate. The history on it is illegitimate. Like you can't go to the thief and then say, "Tell me about your life story on how to be a great businessman." What? So like I tell my children, never envy a thief, never trust a liar. You know what these people have done. Don't ever look to American society to tell you what is decent, what is moral, what is right, what is wrong. Don't do that. What does your heart tell you? And my heart tells me this is all garbage. And it just, If I had a time machine, I would go back straight up and I would murk almost everybody I could see. Straight up and down.
Can't blame you.
I don't have anything to lose.
It ain't about having nothing to lose. I don't even know what I would end up doing to the future because everything has an effect on you and all that. But I'll go back and I'd be murking. It's like people talk about what was it? I want to say it was the Nat Turner rebellion that almost happened, and they were like they were gonna take out everybody, men, women, and children. It is horrible, and I'm like, nah, that's just fine with me because the people in that house were enslaving men, women, and children, right?
And take it out.
They were killing men, women, and children.
So,
right?
What are you saying?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, people have to decide what for themselves, what is right and what's wrong. Stop going with what everybody else is telling you. Stop going about what you think should be right or wrong. What does your heart tell you? And if your heart tells you to be aggressive towards people for no reason, then you need to check your heart. But but this right here, nah.
Oh, we all have an inner compass, and time to start using it.
Is the people who they want power and privilege so much that, and I'm just be totally honest with you because Theus brought it up yesterday, but it is the truth. We've been for the longest time been calling it slavery, and rightfully so because it is slavery. But you know what we actually call it now? We call it human trafficking because that's what it was. That's all it literally is. If you can explain to me what's the difference after we just saw a video where they was leasing out slaves and you can borrow my slave and you can use it for a few minutes and okay, I'm done. So cause my farm didn't work out, so I try to liquidate everything I had, including my slave. Tell me the difference between slavery and human trafficking.
Well, it's even worse.
And even if you try to put sexuality into it, nope. You still can't tell me the difference between slavery and human trafficking. It's the exact same. Ooh.
Not that. No, wait, whoa. Human trafficking, like when they take these poor people who are desperate for economic opportunity from South America and do horrible things to them and rob them blind and leave them for dead in the desert, and then just to smuggle them into the United States. That's horrible. It's a crime against nature. It's a crime against man. That's still just one aspect of slavery. You look at sex trafficking, where they rob you of your independence and they use you like a piece of meat for other people to get their pleasure from you with no regard for your humanity. That's still just one aspect of slavery. I mean, it's like you can look at almost any abomination you want to, and they were all just slices of what American chattel slavery was. Like, you had the sex trafficking, they were literally breeding us like animals. The way that you end up with a pit bull versus a Georgia bulldog versus a boxer, right? That's all from selective breeding. That's how you ended up with 6'6" versus big muscle frame versus, right? They bred us like animals, yo. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's why I won't let anybody compare us to anything else. I just won't let it happen because our Holocaust, because I guess patent pending, only one group of people gets to use the term Holocaust, but our Holocaust lasted 300 years. You know what I'm saying? And it's only trailing out at this point 150 years later, 160 years later, right? 6 million people were murdered in the most grisly fashion imaginable, starved and everything else under the Nazi occupation. And we recognize that as a Holocaust. Those of us with some sense recognize that as a Holocaust. 100 million Africans died and were murdered over the course of slavery. Tell me that's not a Holocaust. Tell me that's not genocide. The indigenous people, I don't even know the numbers because nobody tell you. Right? But that went on for almost 400 years. Tell me that's not, well, we acknowledge that that's a genocide. We'll give that one genocide. But then we just try not to talk about it. Right? But the perpetrator every single time fits the very general description. And then they say, well, that's way back then. That's way back then. Oh, that's way back then. Okay. Well, let's look at Israel. Israel is doing genocide as we speak against the Palestinian people. I'm not putting their story one-to-one with us because we, like Ice Cube said, we got too much issues over here. But just look at who's doing it. It's the European Jews who took over Israel, right? Your ass from Poland, now you in over here and you go back and do the same atrocities that were done to you to another group of people. But this is today. And who's backing them? Good old Uncle Sam and the rest of the European powers, the colonial powers. So it's like everybody wants to say that's back there, that's way back here. But I'm like, no, it's a mindset. It's an ideology. It's a belief system. It's a superiority complex. It does not die with a person. So way back there is just telling you what they're doing right now.
Pretty much. Anna, you got anything? Nope. All right. We'll let you know I've been trying to put off this next video for the longest time because Merc. Pretty nice word. I like that word. It's a YouTube safe word to use. But I'm gonna play this video, and trust me when I say Merc was the first word that popped in my head. Let's go to get into Judge Tawney's decision.
And boy did he. The most infamous line from this opinion, and this is going to be really offensive, describes that at the time the Constitution was written, people of African descent were, and I quote, regarded as beings of an inferior order and altogether unfit to associate with the white race, either in social or political relations, and so far inferior that they had no rights which the white man was bound to respect, and that the Negro might justly and lawfully be reduced to slavery for his benefit. Tawney goes on to say that enslaved people were bought and sold and treated as an ordinary article of merchandise in traffic whenever a profit could be made by it. And this opinion was at the time fixed and universal in the civilized portion of the white race. It was regarded as an axiom in morals as well as in politics, which no one thought of disputing or supposed to be open to dispute, and men in every grade and position in society daily and habitually acted upon it in their private pursuits as well as in matters of public concern without doubting for a moment the correctness of this opinion. And Tawney could have stopped there and said, nope, not citizens, this case can't go forward. He didn't have to address the constitutional questions of whether enslaved people were property that governments can't take away, or whether Congress had the right to create free states out of the Missouri Compromise. He didn't have to get into that. He didn't have to get to the constitutional questions that were tearing the United States apart at the seams. But he was like, nah, Hold my beer. Taney was like, listen, enslaved people are property, and the Fifth Amendment protects against unlawful seizures of property. So any law that deprives an enslaver of his property was therefore unconstitutional. And he said these free states created by Congress through the Missouri Compromise, yeah, also not constitutional, because it goes beyond the powers given to Congress by the Constitution. And in making that decision, Taney soundly closed the door on the federal government's ability to step in on the subject of slavery, leaving it to individual states to determine, which basically set the states at odds with each other, increasing tensions between the North and South, and adding fuel to the fire of the brewing civil unrest, which erupted into civil war 4 years later.
Now, y'all gonna hear that and get mad, irritated, angry, rightfully so. We should. But bring it back towards the present time. Just because you said it doesn't mean it wasn't happening. You just saying the quiet part out loud. You Black society right now gets mad when they hear people talk like that and say stuff out like that, and you're mad and you're up in arms. Why? Because he said it? Because the act that he is saying is still going on. Just because he said what it is that they're doing should not be the part that pisses you off. Him saying verbatim that the Negro is an inferior and it is for their benefit. We're doing them a favor, making them slaves. And the first, how dare he say that? What you so upset about? They was doing that anyway. So you feel better because he didn't say it out loud? What is the matter with you?
Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. And it took me a long time to get here, and I'm still wrestling with it as it comes up from time to time. Hey, Tracy. But the reason why people basically want to be asleep, they literally do. They want the natural way of just about anything in nature is path of least resistance. And if you believe that the obstacles against you are so severe and so massive and so strong that you can't figure out how to affect change, you try to pretend that what's happening simply isn't happening. It's like a survivor's coping mechanism, right? You just try to take yourself somewhere else. And so you pretend it's not happening, or you pretend it's not as bad as it is. Because if you have to look at it, the laws of information say you only have three choices. You can accept it, reject it, or process it. So people get stuck in the reject piece because the other two are very difficult to deal with. And so ever so often, reality intrudes. And it intrudes and it pisses you off all over again because you haven't been looking at it all the time. You haven't been thinking about it. You haven't found your bearings. So every time somebody comes to you with Dred Scott, every time somebody comes to you with like Nat Turner, like we were talking about before, every time somebody brings up Malcolm Martin and the crew, you get mad all over again. You know, and that's why I think that happens, Marlon. I think it's not that they're simple or anything like that. It's they're either lazy or afraid, or both. I'm gonna lean more towards lazy or afraid because you just don't know what to do with it. So you get mad every single time. And what I ask for people to do is stay in that. Stay in it. You're mad? Stay in it. Let that anger sit on you. I know it sounds like the dark side of the force. Let that anger sit on you. Let it draw you further in so that you start saying, what else was going on? And then you start picking up other books and other articles and different videos and talking to different people. And so you can get enough into it that the anger doesn't hurt as much anymore, and the anger becomes fuel instead of becoming a suppressor. That's what I would say.
I'll give it to the ladies in a few minutes. I'm just for the first time. Well, not for the first time, because someone was that stupid. But I was gonna let everything, people, the little trolls, little ride out and everything. But I knew I would have had to make a decision on how much I was going to let through. And I think my thought process was I'm not going to allow misinformation to sit on our page. So 2 of them I got rid of this afternoon, because you know I ain't waking up in the morning on the weekend. This afternoon, and one who, thank you for the backwards compliment, dude, whoever you are. You started off the whole conversation off with, and here you is spreading undocumented proof of everything that's, and I'm like, dude, there is no way none of what we're saying is undocumented. What you're saying is you don't want to read it, or even if you did, you don't want to believe it, but don't say it's undocumented. We got a history, 200 effing years. You don't think any of it was documented? But I do love your little backwards compliment. Y'all are you worked hard and became real famous, and this is how you use your power. Well, first of all, didn't know we was real famous. Did y'all know that? So appreciate it. I didn't know we was up there, but for the fact that one of the videos that's coming out tomorrow, so keep your eye out for it, is, and I remember the title because I wrote it, and it was, "We're not going to stop talking about Black history to make you feel better about yourself." That's not going to happen. All I got to do is not lie. That's all I got to do. I don't have to, have permanently anything. I don't have to get upset and scream and yell and moan and everything else. And sometimes I do, because some of this crap does piss me off. But we ain't got to lie about anything. You just got to tell the truth. And if the truth hurts you, tough. I can't even remember what the other person I banged. I can't remember. It was something the same.
Well, Marlon, the fact that you felt that those comments were at the point where they need to be omitted or removed, that's like, why are we even talking about them here? You see what I'm saying? Like, why give them the air? You done took them off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they deserve no validation, none.
Oh no,
You got a lot of people who support you and say a lot of great things. Talk about them. These people are even at the point where you said, "Nah, you just too far out there. I can't." You because you're more patient than me. So you got to go. At that point, I ain't gonna sit here and give you a homage.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I feel better. I just wanted to use that part about saying we're famous. Like, okay. Yeah. Anyway, Tracy, Hannah, anything?
I got here too late, so I can't even offer comment.
All right.
But how's everybody doing?
We good. How you doing?
Good.
9 months. I got 9 months until football comes back.
Oh,
y'all, what am I gonna do with myself?
Don't care.
I do.
Enroll in a course, start a garden, learn a new craft.
You're going to school.
Read a book.
I know, but I done made preparations for that. I got that already planned.
Mm-hmm.
I can't relate, so
no Sunday game.
Something about your preparation. And Mike Tyson was the one that made it, of all people. Mike Tyson made it famous.
Of all people.
Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Very true.
So yeah, prepare all you want to. You got preparations and 9 months and everything. When them books start flying and them courses start flying, you could ask Foxy. She's doing hers online and she's over there burning the midnight oil trying to get papers out. So just saying, if you're into this school and you want to get them good grades and you want to be up there, them 9 months gonna fly by because you ain't even gonna be thinking about it.
I don't start till August. 1 month away from football.
Yeah. All right.
So
What else you got, dog?
I have the ending.
Fate continued to play a role in Dred Scott's life, however, because remember Irene, the widow of Emerson, the army doctor, the one that the Scotts originally sued to get their freedom? Yeah, well, she remarried a guy named Calvin Chaffee, a congressman from Massachusetts, who was a staunch abolitionist. And apparently he just didn't know that she claimed ownership over the Scotts. Anyway, he found out a couple months before the Supreme Court decision came down, probably because newspapers nationwide were like, hey, you know this insane Supreme Court case, Scott v. Sanford, that we're all waiting to see to determine the outcome of slavery in America? Yeah, well, Chaffee, that abolitionist congressman, his wife is the one who claims to own them. So Chaffee's pissed and embarrassed and transfers ownership of the Scotts to Taylor Blow back in Missouri. Again, remember the Blow family, they were the original enslavers of Dred Scott, who had spent a lot of time and money and used their connections to help his case for his freedom. Now that they were the rightful owners of the Scotts, they could begin the process of emancipating them. And on May 26, 1857, Dred and Harriet Scott were formally freed in St. Louis Circuit Court by that same judge, Alexander Hamilton. After obtaining his freedom, Dred Scott worked at a hotel in St. Louis and Harriet worked as a laundress. Unfortunately, Dred Scott died of tuberculosis on September 17, 1858, just 18 months after obtaining his freedom. Harriet would live until 1876. Back in 2017, the podcast More Perfect, which if you haven't heard of it, is an excellent podcast all about constitutional law and the Supreme Court, I highly recommend. They did an episode called American Pendulum 2 about the Dred Scott case, and they covered a reconciliation summit that was held between the descendants of Dred and Harriet Scott and the descendants of Justice Taney, who wrote this opinion. It's a really interesting look at history and how we talk about it now and reconcile with it now, with a lot of mixed emotions and interesting discussions. I highly recommend.
Okay, so the only thing that I even take from the ending, which, well, two things now. One, once again, that perfect storm for justice. That's the only way, then and now, you happen to marry. Why did you about the smartest woman I know. So you decided that you have a slave and you go to marry somebody who is completely and utterly against slavery.
Yeah.
Also, you also going to be in a time when, as much as men don't have, blacks didn't have power. Women is the next step above with no power. So, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take your slave and give him to somebody else that I know that's going to free them. And there's nothing that you can do because you're a woman. I'm so glad we're at the end of this story, but I just really just feel like I'm glad that I made a decision to go do a more deeper dive into Black history instead of just putting the famous names up there and giving the same speeches and the same this, that, and the other and stuff like that. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do next year because I did not know that systemic racism was going to take up the majority of the month. But it did. And I'm
Perhaps we'll be more disciplined next year.
You're joking. So funny. That's never going to happen. But I appreciate the I appreciate everybody on here. This to me, this was tougher than it was last year getting through this. But I'm glad that we did it. I have there's no issue with me of doing it. But go ahead, Diaz.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, I think they did a good job. Thank you, Anna, for bringing up some of the ideas. And I mean, I think this is a much better way of doing it than it's traditionally done, right? So I wouldn't have any objections to doing pretty much the same thing next year. Just pick a different topic or person or group. Just keep it moving. But yeah, what I would say though from the video we were just watching, what I take away from it is stop looking to the court system for justice because that's not where justice lives. You know what I'm saying? So in the battle for your humanity, there is no such thing as a decision of consensus. Okay, you are a person. You are free. You are equal. Like you were born that way. There are things that are taking it from you. So the court is not the place to figure out who's human. That's not subject to the courts. So there are things that need to be done in the courts, and there's things that need to be done in the streets, and that's what I take from it. Now, also with any movement, there's multiple facets and multiple angles. Uh, you need somebody who's going to fight in the courts because the Dred Scott decision helps move the country towards a particular direction, not because of the decisions, but because of the decisions, right? So you have that. So to explain, you have the decisions that were fighting against his humanity and his family's humanity and freedom. Those decisions really don't mean anything. But those very same decisions spark the outrage over here to give energy to continue to fight on a different level. So that's what I mean, right? The decisions themselves in the courts, meh. But because of those very same decisions, other actions can take place. And that's how basically any major movement works. You got those who are fighting in the courts, those who are fighting in the streets, those who are fighting in the businesses, and it's all moving in the same direction. And you need all of them to make it happen.
All right. Anna, Tracy.
Anna, you go first.
Yay that he got free. I'm happy that there was some tiny little good part of this story. But my question is now, since legally in 1857, any black person, didn't matter if you were a freedman from the north, didn't matter if you were enslaved, and you could not be considered a citizen. Anything ever say that was wrong?
So nothing said it directly, but the 13th Amendment abolished chattel slavery as a course of bondage. And then the 14th Amendment gave birthright citizenship. So it was like, that's how they overturned the Dred Scott decision, really, the 13th and 14th Amendment. But that's the closest it came. Like, America is not very good at saying, we were wrong.
Yeah.
It's like,
oops.
Yeah, I think there was some president. I don't even know which one. One of the Bushes, maybe it was Clinton. I don't know. But one of them apologized for slavery in some offhanded, sideways kind of way. But you're not doing restitution, so I'm really not really understanding what the value of that apology is. We kind of know it was wrong. That's why they passed the amendments. But
So what I see is there are still all kind of legal decisions that are saying you are not citizens. The voting has to be re-upped every 25 years. Like,
oh, it's very clear. Yeah, we are extended guests,
wow.
right? We are not afforded equal protection under the law. We know it, we see it.
Right.
It's also part of the trauma that we all live with each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
We're not afforded equal representation in history. That's why we have to have a separate track, you know. That's why we have to have a month, right? Because we're still one off. We are not equal representation in corporate America or business America because we're denied access because they won't do reparations because you can't give us back time. Can't give us that. But you could make it so we could start our own factories and start our own machines of industry. But to do that, we would need a lot of money, and that's part of reparations. So since you won't do that, we are forced to try to make our ways within established culture. So now maybe you'll give us a job in your businesses. And I think that's one of the ways we got off track in a slightly different discussion. But we're all now you got people fighting about, you know, what's the diversity, equity, DEI, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Because you won't let us own the company. We have to fight you to be able to work in yours. All right. So that's a one. Our churches, right? About the only thing you can get a loan for as a small business person of size is a church. But even then, you got black churches and you got white churches. You got some multiracial?
Multi-denominational.
No, not that one. I mean, like you have multiple ethnic groups. Multiple ethnic groups is what I'm getting at. Multiracial, I think, is what the term. You got some of those churches, but they're disproportionately still ran by a white pastor, but whatever on that. But we're still split there. There is a one-off version for everything for black versus our university system. We don't have equal endowments because we've been deprived from actually having the ability to create the wealth to give the endowments back to our schools, and the U.S. government refuses to step in the gap for that. So it's always there, right? A black man gets murdered by a police officer, and automatically, well, what happened before the video started? But a bunch of white people go and attack the Capitol Hill and cause the death of 2 police officers and injure 140 more. And it's, well, bad things happen. Let's move on. So you can pass a law, but a law doesn't mean anything if you aren't willing to enforce it. And that has historical legs. When they did Brown v. Board of Education, passed that, I think, in 54, we're in the 60s, still desegregated. 90s, still segregated. 90s, still segregated. You had schools in the 2000s having their first interracial proms, right? So what's the point of having a law if you're not going to enforce it? So yeah, like you were saying, yeah, there's a lot of things out there. Like, who was it who was talking? I think it was on the videos Marlon showed, or maybe I saw it on another video, where like, there are no laws on the books that are expressly race related.
Yeah, that was mine, and it was the fact that it has nothing to do with law; it's the enforcement of the
law.
Law.
Because that's where you end up with de jure and de facto, and so a lot of the de jure rules have been removed, or they've been shrouded with new language. But the de facto, yeah, that stuff is still hanging in there loud and proud.
I will leave the last word up to Tracy or Anna. Well, Tracy, because Tracy haven't said anything.
This country makes me sick.
Yeah.
Sick. I can't think of nothing else I can say. I am so sick and tired of slavery was a long time ago and da 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 da. You know, there was a funny little sketch that I saw. Either it was on TikTok. It was probably Instagram because I don't go to TikTok that much. And it said, "How can they were life live without black inventions?"
Mm.
And they tried to live a day without anything that a black person actually invented.
Son
They
of
couldn't.
furnace.
They couldn't do it. Do you know I was in my 40s by the time I learned a black person invented, oh shoot, I want to say the refrigerator so bad. It was one of those,
The traffic light.
the traffic light, thank you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm 40, I'm in my 40s and I'm learning this. I should have learned that in school. I should have learned that Dr. Drew, I can't think of that was his last name. He was the first doctor that did a blood transfer. Yeah, open heart surgery. We don't learn these things, and it's by design. The whole thing is by design. You got a whole state that wants to make you think that Rosa Parks sat on the bus because her feet were tired. Crapola it was. If the system doesn't want to teach us our history, we better be in place to teach our children and ourselves. We got a lot of history that we need to learn. Because if I'm in my 40s and I'm just now knowing that a black person invented the traffic light, what the tarnation? What in the world is happening to this country? Second point. Can we get rid of the Supreme Court? I'm sorry, I just got to go on this little tangent because can I say the whole thing though, please? Because all these rights that we fought for, like I was back there fighting, all the rights that my ancestors fought for, and the courts are just chipping them away. Put the voting booth, put it way out 50, 60 miles away from where somebody lives. Sure, throw it away. They don't need to vote. What do they need to vote for? Sure, make them get ID and they may be homeless. Hey, it doesn't even matter. You have to have an address to vote, but if they don't have an address, they can't vote. Sure, if you live in Florida, and the citizens vote that, hey, if you're in prison, you can vote. And the governor says, I don't know what y'all voted on. They're still not voting. America, you make me sick. I am so... I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't know where I should fight first. Because if you just think I'm going to just sit back and just let you just kind of squash over black history, wrong. I'm going to make sure that my nieces know, my nephews know, my cousins know, everybody knows. And that's all I'll say. Now, please, you can say, yes, stay. The Supreme Court should stay.
No, I would. I mean, I don't say it like that. But I'll say that the problem with the Supreme Court, it's easy to look at the structures and refuse to look at each other. I need us to start looking at our neighbors. I need to start looking at the people that you go in the grocery store with. I need to start looking at people sitting next to you in church. I need you to start looking at, see what I'm saying? Like, these are the people voting for this mess that puts these particular people in place. We can blame the structures all we want, but those are like 4 or 5 steps removed from us, which makes it easier to say, oh, well, I can't do nothing about that. So that's why you end up with people blaming Joe Biden for stuff that is really Congress, or stuff that is really their state legislature, or stuff that, what I'm saying? Like, because it's so far away that, okay, well, we'll just pick the boss, right? Even though he's not. But we need to look at each other, right? And then also look at these so-called parties, because the parties are corporations that have zero interest in actual people. I remember, I don't think I posted this. I posted it in that chat, Marlon, where I was like, we are in a situation where the Democratic Party says it has to protect the country by defending democracy. And in order to do so, it must deny democracy. right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
in order for Biden to protect democracy, we have to suspend democracy so no one can contend against him while he goes out to go fight for democracy. And then you have the Republican Party who wants to get rid of democracy, but will use democracy to get there. So, like, the Republican representatives, as horrible as they are actually doing what their voters tell them to do.
Yep.
They're actually doing what their voters say to go do. Democracy. And then they go out there and do something horrible to try to get rid of democracy. That's a problem. The Democrats on the other side are like, don't really like the democracy part for saying who's in charge. But we're gonna protect it though. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But if we had actual functioning, real, I'm gonna ignore the Republicans for a second, Democratic Party, then they would have already expanded the court or reorganized it. Or made so much noise trying to get it done that it became a front and center situation. We have had Alito and Thomas blasted for rank corruption.
Yep.
And the Democrats have been largely quiet. Right? Least
What
they could
can
do
we
is
do?
make noise and say, you know what?
Hey, that's stupid.
We got they've got nine Supreme Court justices. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna expand the court to 15.
15.
But we're gonna keep 9 who sit at any given time. So that means it's a randomized drawing every time it comes down, and it's going to pick a random 9 out of the 15.
But
The
then,
only one who will be
you know who's against that?
the Democrats.
No, yes. I'm like, y'all got to be the dumbest party I have ever heard. Now, you say what you want about third parties, but
You do realize I was sitting over here like really quiet when you were saying that, because I was like, didn't the Democrats say they didn't want to do that? So
They don't want to do anything. The Democrats don't want to do anything because they make money. They're basically corrupt mercenaries. They just want to get paid. The Republicans are ideologues who want to destroy everything and send everybody back 50 years. So they're not close comparisons. The Republicans are obviously measurably much worse, but the Democrats are ineffective, lazy, and sorry, right? So thank you for not hitting the gas on the bus headed towards the wall. The Republicans are like leaning into the gas pedal, trying to get the bus to go as fast as it can. Thank you for not being that, Democrats. But I'd just be nice if you would reduce speed, turn on your blinker, and make your way over to another lane.
Something that's gonna benefit you. Nope, we're gonna be against it.
All right, so it's a darn if you do, darn if you don't type of thing. But it's not. I do reject the thing that when they say Republicans, Democrats are just as bad, because they're not. They're not close. But there's a problem here, and so what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to complain about it, or are we going to start organizing amongst each other and actually start to move things? Because you got to be able to buy you some politicians. That's what you got to do. Let's just be real about it. You got to be able to buy you some politicians.
Anna, last word.
There's not really a whole lot to.
Joe Manchin didn't even want $2,000 stimulus check in the middle of the pandemic, right when the Democrats took power in 2021. He definitely was never going to make any sort of structural changes to the institution.
That he said that if people get stimulus checks, they're just going to go out and buy drugs.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Twitter. I'm like,
Joe Man. See, that's the thing. Just because somebody's rocking the jersey, it doesn't mean that they're really on the team. All right. Joe Manchin is a Dixiecrat. He's a Republican in a Democratic uniform. That's all Manchin is. So the Democrats are playing a different type of game. They're playing a corporatist game, and that's why Manchin is there. It's like it's better for him to be here than over there, because then at least he votes on our side, even though he gives us a hard time every time it's time to vote, right? But yeah, Manchin doesn't want his people. He's one of the richest men in his entire state.
Yeah.
And he doesn't think anybody else deserves to have anything because everybody else isn't. They haven't proven to him that they're smart enough to manage the money.
And will straight up tell you, oh, I got plenty of black friends. It ain't but 5 black people in the whole state of West Virginia. Maybe 6. Maybe.
Well, it's funny when they say they got black friends, the ones who are like him. They're the same black friends that everyone like you has. Like there's this pool of 20 black people, and they're all y'all friends. Like
Elder Tim Scott.
But let me push back on that, Diaz. Let me push back on that just a little bit, because it's real funny when they say, I got 5 friends. If you really push them,
they can't name them.
What it starts coming out to, it goes from friends to acquaintances. Then that falls from acquaintance to I know of them, and they know.
Well, I think it's unfair anyway.
It's like
that's an unfair question.
Okay, I wave to my neighbor across the street.
Yeah, it's an unfair question, man. Really, what they're saying is I don't go around saying the N-word. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, just say that.
But I think it's an unfair question anyway to say, do you have any black friends? Which is why no one ever asks that question.
No, he's the one that offers it. Nobody
they just volunteer that I have black friends.
He volunteered it. In case in point, notice how he always runs up on Raphael Warnock. Anybody watch it and tell me I ain't the only one thinking what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, you done found a black. You trying to find somebody black. You just trying.
Yeah, because he's not. That's just it. Like, and that's why I'm saying it's not even a fair thing because, I mean, so what if you? Who really has a lot of friends? When you grown, you probably got 5 friends anyway. So I don't care if you have any black friends or any Latino friends, or I don't care because I can't expect that of you. Do whatever. Empathy should not require you to be directly tied to somebody to care about it.
All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and cut this short. We are almost 10 minutes over.
It's Theus's fault.
It is.
It's always Theus's fault.
Usually it is.
Unless you talk to Tracy, then it's your show. So we're going to go ahead and go into the second hour with a full pack. And Tracy, just in case you didn't hear me, we are packed with a Am I the A-hole, a positive story of the week, a real or not. We have no Mafia video of the week, but we do have Foxy video of the week. So 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
wasteland at last, where the white gleam of a bright star is fast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us the star on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places of God where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
We are back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Tracy Media Fan. Help support Tracy and all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliAetc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And y'all need to jump on the merches on BorelliAetc.com. And as always, if you need to reach out to me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's radtp@outlook.com. The last show of the month, I hope to jump on somebody whose name I'm not going to say, because hopefully come next month, I can add another banner to pay the bill. But I ain't gonna say no name, because that's not how I do things. I'm just,
Up here.
Don't point to me. I got content going. I don't know what you're talking about. I got content.
just
Better pick up a mirror. That's all I'm saying.
am I the a-hole? I picked this up today. This is not a am I the a-hole. This is really more of a discussion and a decision type thing, as somewhat saying, what would you do? Okay. So it's not an am I the a-hole. Because sometimes I get these and I'm so on the fence. I can see it both ways. Except for these who, Tracy, I don't know. Anna, I don't know. Thea's, I already know. You're really predictable when it comes to relationships, dude. Sorry, but not sorry. You really are. Yeah. So this is not a traditional am I the a-hole. This is more of a discussion piece and things like that. Fair warning to neurodivergent individuals. The background is thing. So if you need to not look at the screen and just listen, just giving you a chance to do. I'm sorry. Why the hell was the first thing that popped in my head was Batman? Why?
I have no idea.
But anyway, countdown for the neurodivergent people in 3, 2, 1. My relationship is a prank.
I have 5 friends, 2 female and 3 male, all in their early 20s, and they have been annoying me for some time about being single. I've never had a girlfriend, and I was the one who got made fun of the most for being single. Usually their jokes were lighthearted, but on occasions they were not. Some of their jokes were really low, but I let them slide because they were friends, although I never forgot them. They were more like insults to me, but I never showed it. About 2 months ago, they introduced me to a girl, let's call her Emily, and we became friends pretty quickly. Soon we discovered that we have a few things in common, so our friendship turned into a relationship. Considering we were early into the relationship, things felt a bit weird for me. We bonded really quickly and we enjoyed spending time together. 2 or 3 days ago, I went out with 2 of my friends. We were having fun talking about stuff until one of them asked me why Emily hadn't dumped me yet. I asked him what that was supposed to mean, and he told me that our relationship is a joke/prank. I asked him to explain, and he told me that all 5 of them were on board to prank me by having Emily play the role of being my girlfriend for about a week before dumping me. That was the plan originally, to which Emily agreed. That didn't go as they planned, and then they thought that she might pretend to be my girlfriend a bit longer before eventually dumping me. That also didn't happen, and Emily stopped hanging out with them. She pretty much cut them off from her life after we started dating. We got into a verbal fight that lasted some time, led nowhere, so I called them a-holes and left. To say the least, I was really angry and I called Emily immediately after leaving them to talk to her about this. When we met, she wanted to hug me, which I denied, and I didn't wait for a single second before asking her about this stupid prank. She became pale on the spot and started crying and apologizing for it. She admitted almost immediately that she was indeed on board with that, but she also said that she dropped the prank entirely and decided to stay because she genuinely likes me. She likes that I treat her with respect, trust, and kindness. I asked when she was planning on telling me this, and she told me that she didn't know when or how to even say it. She said that she doesn't want to play with people's emotions and that even agreeing to this was so wrong, but in hindsight it turned out good because she met me. That's why she hid it from me. Our conversation didn't last long and I went home. I blocked all my friends on all accounts, numbers, everything. I don't want to see them again. I don't know what to do with Emily. She keeps sending apologies, asking me not to break up, and that she'll make up for it. I don't know what to do. If she lied and manipulated me into this, what will she lie about or manipulate me into tomorrow? I would find this entire situation comical if it weren't happening to me. Right now, I'm so disappointed in everything, mostly in myself.
Okay, let me go ahead and tell you where I'm at. Why I'm on the fence. On the plus side of everything, you're looking at somebody who figured out this is wrong. I'm separating myself from this group of people who, by the way, OP, they're not your friends. That no friends would treat you like that. And no friends would actually care about you damn being single that long to actually be making jokes about it. They're not friends. But Emily, I think the name was, came to her senses enough to separate herself from that because she found somebody and, she didn't want to lose that relationship. So that part of me makes me want to fight for this relationship. Now, let me go to the other side. The other side is a whole much more than the first side. One, Emily, you did decide to do this at the beginning. You made that conscious decision. You thought this was a good idea. 2, I hear that you're saying, yeah, I feel bad that we was doing this, but I can't forget the part where you said you felt bad that you was doing this only because you actually did like OP. So that makes me think, so if you didn't like OP, you would have been okay with it. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. But that's what it's come out sounding to me. Like you just happen to luck out and just like the guy. 3, and this is the funny thing about it. Why all these knowledges of relationships pop in my head after I've been married for almost 20 years? I have no idea. But my new thing is, I have to realize what is going to be popping in my head throughout the relationship. And can I live with that? And I don't think I can literally live with the fact that You lied and manipulated me for this long. I'm always going to have in the back of my head, what could you do next? And when that happens, I really can't see myself being with you. I am not going to be the person who's always going to be in a relationship looking over my shoulder or questioning everything that you do, every word that you say, every place that you go. That's not a relationship. I don't have time for that now. Of course, I'm saying that because I've been married for 20 years. I may have less energy than I was back then. But for now, I don't have the energy to do that. Either I trust you fully or I don't. So if I have to restrain, if I have to use extra energy to wonder about what you're doing, I don't feel like it. I just don't. So I'm going to shut up now. That's why I said I was on the fence. But after sounding that stuff out, I guess I'm really not. But go ahead, anybody.
He really said that this would be funny if it was happening to someone else.
That's what I picked
like
up.
that
I'm
one.
like, that dude, come on. Calm it down. It's not funny.
At all. Not at all.
Even had she come to him when she realized I'm having actual feelings for you and told him then, I would still say he doesn't. Oh, it's alright. It's alright. He shouldn't have to put up with this. You lied. You lied about the basis, and I cannot get over that.
The foundation. All right, Tracy.
What in the Saved by the Bell mess is this? This sounds like exactly a plot right off Saved by the Bell. I'm like, is this where they got it from? This isn't real or not, right? Because
No.
I can't believe no parts of this. I got so many thoughts going. Number one, them friends,
Not friends.
they are garbage. They are the poop that comes out of human beings. That's what they are. They stink. They're terrible. They're awful people. But you not any better talking about if it happened to somebody else, I think it would be fun. It's not funny to play with people's feelings at all. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's childish. Even though I don't even want to give this to a child because I don't think a child would do some mess like this. It sounds like they watched a bad after school special and thought, hey, I know we should just pay some girl. Like what they do, how did they even convince her, hey, I don't know what OP's name is, so I'm just gonna call him Chad. Hey, Emily, we need you to go out with Chad and pretend to be his girlfriend and then ditch him. What the heck is the point of that? Like, you just want to see him upset? You want to see him destroyed? Like you get your kicks out of that? You are some sick people. Just sick.
Yes to that too.
And Emily, girl, if you don't sit your trifling behind down somewhere, sat down, he should break up with you faster than Jesse Owens ran. He should break up with you faster than I did with that one dude that thought he was just going to take me out and I was going to sleep with him. He should break up with you faster. He should break up with you so fast that you just like, it's one thing to forgive. And I believe in forgiveness. I absolutely positively believe in forgiveness. That don't mean I got to stay with you. I can forgive you because I have to. But I ain't got to go back with you because in the back of my head is always going to be, Is she really telling the truth? Is she really doing this? I know it'll be hard for you to tell him, hey, my friends found me at dupadate.com and they just hired me to go out with you and pretend like you. I know that's going to be a hard conversation. How about don't do it? Tell them they're garbage. Tell them they're awful. Tell these friends that they need this thing called a life. They need a soul. They need a spine. They need a conscience. See, something happened. They conscious it left them. Cause you don't do. I wouldn't do this to a person that I didn't like. I mean, there's not too many people I don't like in general. But if I did dislike somebody, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do this. You don't play with people's feelings. What if he had married her and then years later they had some kids and now she decides to come clean with it? Now he's got to divorce her. And that's a good grounds for divorce, by the way. This is just, yes, it is a good grounds because she went into the marriage with some lying aptitudes. Thank goodness don't go back to this lady. Don't go back to this lady. She's a deceiver. The friends are deceivers. And bruh, have some compassion. This ain't funny. It's not funny. You cannot play with people's feelings. You don't do that. I'm done.
All right, Theus.
Almost. No, I'm joking.
All right, Theus. Last word.
All right, I'll try to keep it short for me. All right, so
Oh, so that's an hour?
perhaps. So let's see. Oh man, I thought I had a good way to put it, but anyway, so like yeah, these are not your friends. Whenever you find that you're the butt of the joke on a consistent basis, like if you're always the butt of the joke and you're never the subject, like putting the joke on your friends, then you're just the joke. So these are not your friends. Cool. As far as the relationship piece, I mean, Marlon kind of hit on it in a way. You need to ask yourself, it's messed up how the two of you came together, but if not for that, you never would have come together. So how important is this relationship to you? Not like, so personally, I would have a hard time because I don't believe in forgiveness. So it would be difficult for me. But this would be one of those where I probably would forgive. Because it's early in a relationship, I can let a lot of stuff go in the dating phase. Like, because I don't believe people really, I think you should always be an honest person, but no one really owes you honesty early on because you're all dealing with representatives and all that stuff. So decide for yourself, can you continue on with her having learned what you've learned and not have it change what you see of her? Because see, the thing about me is certain things that you can do around me or to me makes me reclassify you. So once I've reclassified you, I can't get past it. You'll always be that new person to me. And so in that case, if that's the switch that gets flipped with her, I would have to break up with her. I would just have to. Because I'm not going to be the same guy that you fell in love with. I'm not going to be that guy anymore. Because you're not the same person that I fell in love with. Right? So that's just being an honest person and moving from there. But if you can compartmentalize it and be like, yo, that was messed up, but they didn't know what they were doing because what they did, it was a blessing to me and a blessing to you. And then we move on to our future together. Then you're good. Whatever. Drop the friends, just like she did. Drop the friends. Y'all make new friends. Y'all focus on your relationship, and it either succeeds or it fails. You'll figure it out together. And that's just it. It'll just be part of your funny story, 20 years from now or 30 years from now, when you're telling how you all got together to your grandkids. So that's how I would take that part. But then on another track, I think that, and this is just my take on it, when he said this would be funny if it was happening to somebody else, I think you guys kind of took it a little bit different than what he was saying. Because when I listened to the entirety of his story, you could tell he's someone who never places himself first. You can tell that he has a hard time standing up for himself. So self-deprecating humor is just kind of how he rolls. So when he looks at this and he's like, man, this would probably be, if this was happening to somebody else, like it was like on a movie or a TV show or something like that, it would be kind of funny. Ha ha ha, you know, your friends played a trick on you and then you found the love of your life. You know, it's like a romantic comedy. We go sit down and watch movies like that all the time. So I can't come quite as hard on it just off that little nugget. Because I mean, for real, check yourself on what you take in for entertainment. I mean, how many times you sit there and watch a Jerry Springer type joint or a Love and Basketball type joint or a movie that they have these kind of sub things to them? You know what I'm saying? Or does that make you a bad person? Are you willing to call yourself a bad person? I'm not. So I think that was just elevated a little much, but that's just my particular take. And that's my synopsis of the story.
But I wonder, how would she tell him though? How does she even approach the conversation?
There's no way.
There's no way you could actually tell him, hey, your people that you thought was your friends, see what they did was they told me to go out with you. But I said, okay, I'll do it. What makes her do that? What makes her think?
Well, that's what I was getting at, and I failed to bring that up because you're right. Some things there's never the right time to tell.
You can't
some things
never
you got to take to the grave. Because
don't say nothing. But he found out anyway, and he confronted.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. And when she was confronted with it, she fessed up, which is all she could do. But as far as her initiating that conversation, I think it's unrealistic to think a person would ever do that. You know what I'm saying? The only way that she could have done it was up front. Your friends set me up to talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
A very first date.
Right. It's the only way it can happen within that first date, first week or whatever. That's the only time. After that, the horse is out the barn at this point. And it's similar to like when, and this is to me is similar, might be different to other people, but it's just like when someone who is transgender. When is the right time to tell somebody? Sometimes you're afraid to tell somebody up front because you don't want to be rejected before they get to know who you are. But by not telling them, you're depriving them the right to decide if they want to get to know who you are. And so you don't, or you do, or let's go with you don't. And then next thing you know, you both really like each other. You enjoy each other's company. You actually attach on personalities. But now, how do you tell someone?
She could never tell them. She could never. But the friends were something wrong with them. How spiteful.
Yeah, but the friends don't even, like, they don't matter.
They don't matter, but if you think about it, okay, so he's single, and?
Yeah, that's true, because they're bad people. He was a hanger-on of the cool kids crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the cool kids, and you got that kid who just hanging with them.
This, and then,
he was that guy.
Women yesterday, why wouldn't he? Like,
yeah, because my whole thought process on the friend thing is, and I'm going with this. It says is your self-esteem is kind of low, because my only question to my friends, why are your ass so damn concerned about my relationship?
Yeah, they know your business.
If you have one, why are you so concerned about me?
And who want to be in a relationship with y'all? Ugh.
Well, now, I have been concerned about my friends' relationships before. Because if I know you want to be in a relationship, I'm concerned about you being in a relationship.
Only time you should be concerned is if like I'm in a domestic violence situation.
But I ain't going to pick on you about it. That's different.
That's my thing, is being concerned and picking on them about it.
Yeah.
You're not concerned. Yeah. I'm saying, why I would come out and say, why are you so damn concerned about my relationship?
I'm like, ain't in your business why ain't in a relationship.
But that's how I will, let's address this. Because your jokes are not funny and you're just doing it just to hurt me. But I'm not saying don't be concerned about other people's relationships, because, I've had some people who told me some things. It's just like,
Well, I don't even mean about like traumatic stuff, like your friends being cheated on or abusing them. I'm saying we all run in a group and all of us are married or seriously dating, and you got the one single friend. And the one single friend wants to be in a relationship, but they're socially awkward. They're too introverted, or they're just that unique kind of personality that they need to find that other unique personality out there. You're concerned about them, and you try to hook them up when you can and stuff like that.
Yes, but you
But you're
don't
doing it
hurt.
from a good place. You don't do it
Yeah,
from.
you don't sit there and say, okay, let's hire this woman and have her to pretend to like him or her.
Yeah, agreed.
What the heck is wrong with people? This can't be real. This cannot. No, there's no way people can be this vicious. No.
We know people can be that rude, and we know people can be that cruel, and we know people, and
No,
and
I
that's also
refuse.
why I also raised the other point. What kind of entertainment do we take in? We find entertainment in it if we knew it was made
A
up, we don't
movie?
care.
Because it's made up. It's
But where do you
fiction.
think? But art imitates life, and life imitates art. Like these things are inspired by each other. So
Yeah.
where do you draw that particular line?
No, I see where you going on that because some movies I've seen, I'm like, there's no way this could be real. A man is not gonna fall in love with a mannequin.
Well, actually, it could happen, but
Uh,
that man also needs some help. Um,
Or a
but no, I
robot.
mean, I'm not saying in
Or
the
a
literal
doll.
sense, but I'm saying that there's a part of us that we choose the type of entertainment we do because it feeds a part of us.
What did you say, Marlon?
how old did you have to go back to go to the man that fell in love with the mannequin? To make
That was a
Look,
fun movie
I
in the
don't.
'80s, man.
What?
the
Look,
old,
I
old.
don't like movies. You're talking to a person that hasn't been to a movie in. When did the first Black Panther come out?
I don't even know. It's been a minute,
It's been a while. That's the last
and that was
movie
probably
I
the last
saw.
time I've been. No,
I
I went to
don't
see
like.
part two. I did go see part two.
I haven't. I don't even know what happens in part two. I'm like, it's a part two. I didn't know.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
No, I take
I
that
was so
back.
disappointed in
I
some
went
of
to
the
see
Thor movies that
Cats.
just came
I went
out.
to see Cats the musical, but I fell asleep because it was so terrible.
That was not a good movie. That was.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna go to movies I remember in those bad '80s movies. I remember like I remember them.
Yeah, like Star Wars.
Star Wars was a great movie. I don't know what you thinking.
Positive stories of the week. Take a look up, Anna.
Where did these go?
No, I put this down because I knew he was going to start this whole porn talk again and the music and stuff like that. So I just decided,
You could change the music.
no, I can't change the music because I have to pay for that.
Just use free music off the internet.
That's not how that website works.
Oh.
You're not going to do it, Theus?
I wasn't gonna do it.
All right. The next story is more funny than positive. But, anytime I can, anybody that can make somebody laugh, I think that's a positive thing. Touching the wrong face.
This happened a couple of months ago, but I ran into my former boss today and she informed me that she still watches the video footage of my screw-up whenever she needs a good laugh. For the past 5 years, I've worked in childcare with primarily 1- and 2-year-olds. I'm very affectionate and am known to spoil the kids by holding them and cuddling them all day. I often have multiple toddlers coming to me needing to be consoled at the same time, so I've gotten very good at multitasking. One day, this little boy named Luke was getting picked up by his dad early. It was snack time and Luke was not happy about having to leave and have his snack taken away from him. I took the screaming Luke and set him on the edge of the half-door counter thing in front of his dad. His dad put an arm around him and bent over to sign him out. Luke was still crying loudly, so I reached out my hand to smooth his hair back and touch his cheek. At the same time as I'm doing this, another little boy starts crying my name because he's just fallen down, so I turn around a little bit to face the other child. At this point, I'm still caressing Luke's face, almost subconsciously, while also kneeling down to talk to the other boy that's crying. After several moments of touching Luke's face, I realized that it's surprisingly hairy, and then I realized that he's a baby and shouldn't have a hairy face. My hand freezes, and I slowly turn my head to see that not only am I face to face with Luke's dad, because I was kneeling and he was bent over the door signing Luke out, but that I also have my hand on his face instead of Luke's. I sat there shocked for several seconds before I realized that he had the biggest grin on his face, and it finally clicked in my brain that I should move my hand. I stood up and immediately started apologizing and trying to explain myself. He just chuckled and said, "Don't be. Your hands are very soft and I do enjoy being pet." The thing about Luke's dad is that he is one of the most stunningly beautiful men to walk this earth. All the women I worked with had crushes on him, and I'm pretty sure he knew it. He's also very charming and sometimes flirty, but not in a creepy, inappropriate way. So when he said this to me, my jaw dropped and my face felt like it was about to burst into flames from how much I was blushing. He saw my face, let out a big belly laugh and said, "Relax, I'm just messing with you. It's okay, really." He then winked at me before chuckling some more and leaving with Luke. A couple minutes later, I hear some roaring laughter coming down from the director's office. My director came down the hall cackling and asking who wanted to see me make a move on Luke's dad. Of course, by the end of the day, everyone had seen the video of my screw-up. The next day, Luke's mom came into the room and said, "I heard you made a move on my husband yesterday," and then erupted into laughter. Apparently, he called her as soon as he left to tell her all about what I had done. When my director saw that Luke's mom was there, she called us into her office to watch the video together. It's even more embarrassing watching it happen because of how absurdly long I was touching his face. Luckily, Luke's mom found the whole thing hilarious and hugged me and laughed the whole time we watched the video. The rest of the time I worked there, I was teased about what I'd done, and apparently my director still watches the video and even shows some of the new employees. It is quite funny now, but was super embarrassing in the moment.
This is a positive story?
That was funny as crap.
I mean, it was funny, but...
I promise you, I would be the person that would do that. I would be the person who would have that video. I really would be the person who would have that video and show everybody.
Burning it.
Out of the whole story was a little fun romp of imagination. But the bad guy in the story is the director.
Yep.
Why?
And you're saying that's who you would be. Oh yeah, man, I'll show everybody your business. What? Come on, man. You didn't ask me. You ain't asked me. You just gonna make me the butt of the joke for everybody else.
Yeah, new employee, watch this.
Yeah.
And we just came off another video about making somebody the butt of a joke.
No, that's people who literally is going out of their way to be cruel. You're the person who...
That's not cruel. That's very cruel. Marlon, that's cruel.
The video made a joke about it. Everybody knew it was misunderstanding and it was funny.
What is funny about that woman feeling embarrassed and then she gonna show it to new employees? That's
right. Well, what is funny about it to people who don't know you? Like, these are outside people. What's funny about that part?
She touched this man's face. I can see her almost showing it to the wife. I can see her showing it to the wife. But then after that, destroy the tape. Don't put that woman through that. It was obviously a mistake. She didn't mean to do it. Why embarrass somebody? You don't have to embarrass people to get a laugh. There's other ways you can get laughs without other people being the expense of the joke. You don't have to do that. That director is garbage. Garbage. And she should be lucky that she don't work there no more.
She shouldn't be in a position of authority, is what I.
Joe shouldn't be.
That's not how you. That's not how you take care of the people who are subordinate to you.
Yes, you should tape it because you're working with children. You should always be on video camera. I agree.
Yeah, you should have tape everywhere.
But destroy the tape. Don't keep showing it to new employees. Hey, look at this. Don't do this.
Or hold the tape in case that family goes another direction on you. I get that too.
Sue the crap out of me, yeah.
But then to just be like, hey, Hey, everybody, remember that funny time that, Theus was getting off the daycare bus and he tripped and fell and bumped his head? Ha ha
Cracked his
ha!
skull. Look.
Funny day. He's okay now. Look at him over there. Hey, he's
Nobody wants to relive their embarrassing moment and then have it played for other people.
unless they're the ones who get to control when it's being shown.
That's true. Like if I laugh at myself, that's me giving you permission to laugh also with me and not at me. With me, not at me.
Yeah, once I leave, the joke's over.
That director is garbage. You don't do that.
But the director wanted to have fun, and the director felt that it was funny. So since the director felt it was funny, then everything is okay because the director was a director.
Yeah, this is one of those few times I agree with this. This lady garbage.
I'm so glad I got tomorrow off.
You chose this piece of this
Sit there.
lady, not us.
I think I'm gonna go downstairs after the show and mop the floor.
Hey, could you fly to Indianapolis and mop mine? Because I haven't mopped my floor.
I don't know. Maybe shingle the roof.
Marlon get like this when we don't have the exact same view that he does.
Especially when you and me agree on something. Boy, he's like, I was like, I don't know what to do.
Maybe go outside and change the oil in the car. I don't know. Something.
I think he's broken. Somebody reboot. Hit the reset button on him.
Where's Foxy at? She needs to help you.
He's stuck in a loop.
The funny thing about it, I picked the video.
What is that, Anna, like this?
Almost.
How did I get it wrong?
So on a flat, the thumb up.
Oh, okay.
There is actually another. If you ever see somebody just, sorry, where's my camera? Fold their fingers over their thumb, that is a sign for help. Because you can kind of look like you are scratching your neck or something, and you make a sign. Somebody driving can't see.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a video.
I gotta learn some of them because I think you're just scratching your neck.
No, there's a video out there right now, and Anna, you just reminded me of it, that the police did pull over a car, I think swerving, whatever. It was really minor. And the police did pull everybody out the car, and I think she had a couple of scratches. It wasn't serious scratches, but the cop who was smart enough to sit there and say there was something wrong, there's something amiss. And when he showed on his body cam, you saw the guy say once again, "Is there something wrong?" Well, the police already had the back door of his van open. And as she said, "No, I'm fine," you could see her go, but it was by her stomach. So that's when the cop know, okay, it's time to jump in and do something. Yeah. Long story short, it was abuse, and he was arrested. It did happen. So I do remember what you were saying. Lord knows I will bring up that story any way I can to get the hell off this story that y'all picking on me about.
Ain't nobody pick you. The one picked it. Nobody made
you. You just got your own kind of sense of humor. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah.
Real sense of humor. Real or nah. Okay, look. I'm not saying if this is real or not. I'm pretty sure this has happened in the past. But sometimes I listen to stories and go, this is real and this is stupid. Sometimes I just go, this is too stupid to be real.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm on the fence about this one because I'm right now on the edge of saying, this is so stupid to be real. Like this is a writer who pulled in the most toxic topics they can possibly come and put it in a story just to get a reaction from the audience. So that's why. I know what I named it, but basically I'm just gonna go ahead and play the video. Oh, and by the way, a special treat because I kind of actually like this guy. So not only am I going to play the OP's writing, I'm actually going to play the opinions that he read, the opinions that somebody was given to what he wrote. And again, the very last one, the very last opinion that was given, again, falls into the category of it's so stupid it could not possibly be real.
Am I the jerk for ghosting a woman who got pregnant by another guy while just starting to date me? while just starting to date me? Am I the jerk for ghosting a woman who got pregnant by another guy while just starting to date me? I, 41 male, was seeing a woman who's 32 female. We went out on 5 or 6 dates, then come to find out that she had been hooking up with a different guy and got pregnant. And when I found out, I was the bad guy for abandoning her because she was pregnant. I explained that her pregnancy was not the issue. It was the issue of us talking for about a month before she finally had time for a proper date. And over the next 3 months, we managed to go out 5 or 6 more times. But she was hooking up with this other guy, which she claims was just purely physical, and there were no feelings there. She thought since I was already a dad with custody of my kids, and a good dad, I could raise this one as my own. Now she's attacking me on social media, claiming that I'm abandoning her and the baby, and I'm a jerk. I've requested a DNA test, which I know will come back as not mine because we never even hooked up, and she's trying to fight it. She says if I won't man up and take care of this baby on my own accord, she will ensure that the court makes me. Not the jerk, run. OP, I have no contact with her. She tried to get child support, and that's when I requested the DNA test. She's been trying to fight the DNA test, but since I requested it, she gets 0 money until she can prove that it's mine. I'd honestly get a lawyer on her. Maybe a strongly worded cease and desist letter will give her pause. If not, at least you have started a paper trail if her insanity escalates. Not the jerk. It sounds to me like you might be the one who in fact got her pregnant and you're just running from your responsibilities. It's disappointing to see so many comments saying you dodged a bullet. I guarantee you if we heard her side of the story, it would be a very different story than yours. Look, if you think you're too good to date a pregnant woman, then do you. But if you are the father of this baby, I hope the courts get you for every penny they can. When will men stop being such deadbeat fathers? Edit. Yes, my father was also a deadbeat. No, that is not why I think all fathers are. I do, however, know for a fact that most of them are, because I've seen enough stories like this one to confirm that fact. You can try to gaslight me and invalidate my feelings all you want, but that only makes you part of the problem.
Okay, I'm going to treat this as a real story. Okay? This is going to be some great acting, by the way. But I'm going to treat it like it's a real story. Lady, you out of your fucking mind. You want me to take the responsibility of raising your child while skipping the real father of your child to come to me because I already have custody of my children so I can help raise your children, and you want child support by simultaneously fighting to find out if this is even my child, and which I don't even know your favorite color. You have hit your head on every wall in the apartment or house that you live in. The last person to respond, I have no idea other than you just hooked up to a story just to start bashing deadbeat fathers. I seriously don't even know where you was going with your rant at the end. There is nothing in this story. If we're taking the story with face value, there is nothing in this story that says, you know, it sounds like you are the father. Really? Point out where it says that. Point out where it says they had 5 dates. Now, granted, I'm not stupid. Yes, you could knock somebody up in 5 dates if you actually did it, which he says they did. Now, that's me treating this like a real story. Honestly, I've lived through this before. I have seen this before. I grew up in the hood. The hood has lots of stories and unfortunately lots of tricks. But the things that's in this story is broken up. Like, this is a trick, this is a trick, this is a trick. This dude did a trifecta, or whatever the fancy word for 4 things, all in one story. And that's what throwing me was like, bruh, come on. You're throwing a lot of stuff into this. You're throwing a whole bunch of stuff into one incident. When I've seen 4 of the incidents that you're talking about, but it was across 4 relationships. So that's the part that makes me think, dude, this is not real. Sorry, it's not.
So I think that could be real because you can have a situation where people date multiple people. It's just what they do because you're dating. You ain't obligated to nobody. And then she gets pregnant. She's not quite sure who the father is, or she knows the type of dude the father is. And so she tries to then attach to who she would view to be a more responsible person. Now, this is a very bad take on her character that she would do such a thing, but it could happen. It's in the realm of possibility. But then where it gets goofy though is ultimately you're gonna have to do the paternity test because he's requested it. So ultimately it has to happen. So if they've truly never been physically intimate, passionately hugging, then there's only one way that's his child. And so there you go. So yeah, it's cool. Whatever. I am with him though. I would have got with a lawyer. We would have had a cease and desist letter issued, and it's put up or shut up, and move on about your business.
All right, Anna.
Yeah, I can see it being real. I don't know what to make of the. Are we commenting on the commenter?
The last person.
The last person. What I was saying was, I'm not understanding how she jumped from we was dating at the beginning and all of a sudden she was sleeping with somebody else and she got pregnant, and now she's telling me that I need to man up and be a father and everything else. Now, all that I just said has turned into, it sounds like what you're saying is you are the father and you're the dad. I'm like, okay, what in the
I didn't
story?
get that.
Well, I can speak to that too. Marlon, you pointed out a couple of things which are purely anecdotal. They're based on your lived experiences and what you run into and the lessons that you've taken from them. This person has apparently had different lived experiences and has been on the other side of some of these scenarios. So
So
she's
she thinks
speaking from
he's
her,
lying.
huh?
So she thinks he's just lying. This is just
Right. So just
okay.
like you're saying, it's possible that
Uh-huh.
the woman's lying because some of the games that people play. And
Mhm.
she's saying that it could be that he's lying to make himself look better. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not telling the whole truth. So that it could go either way. The It's hard to go because it's just a story. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But you can take from it. You can like choose your own adventure in the manner of speaking.
Urban books. Are you done, Anna? Or you had more?
Mm. I'm done.
Tracy?
Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
is
Were you not done? I did it again. I'm sorry. I thought you had stopped. I apologize.
No, fine.
this is real. This is real. This is absolutely real. Real. This is not fake. People do stuff like this all the time. Yes, real. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. This is real. The last person that decided she wanted to make comments and wasn't even ever in the situation. People do that stuff all the time. You not in the
Mm-hmm.
situation, you don't know nothing about the situation, but guess what you gonna do? Make comments about the situation. You just out here making all kind of comments, and you don't know, and um, you don't. He could be lying. He could be lying, saying that because the only thing I had a problem with was why demand if you know you haven't passionately hugged, as Thea says, why demand the DNA test? You haven't been with her, so there's no way this could be your child, unless he was doing it to see was she gonna bite.
Well, now we're gonna have to go into hood game, Tracy. You're not wrong, but now we do have to go into hood game. Why would you? How you could passionately hug somebody and still ask for a DNA test because you're playing the odds because you know that person is also sleeping with somebody else. So what do you have to lose? Because there's a 50-50 chance that even if you did hook up to her, but she is hooking up with somebody else, chances are that still may not be your child. You're playing the numbers, so to speak.
But if he knows he hasn't passionately hugged her, then how is it gonna be his kid or child?
Well,
I told you. I literally just told you.
No, I'm just saying it don't make sense. That's the only part of the story that does not make sense to me. Everything else, I'm like, yep, this is real.
He's playing the odds.
Yeah, but those are odds.
Because he could literally sit there and lie and say, no, I did not passionately hug him when he actually did. But you throw in the factor that, okay, I'm not the only one you were sleeping with. So if I ask for a DNA test and the odds is in my favor that the other person is the father, then it's a twofer. One, shoot, I'm not the father. I ain't paying you nothing. Two,
Yeah.
now I'm also looking good because I'm the one who's sitting there saying, I want a DNA test, and you're the one that's fighting. So, in the opinion of the public, you're coming out looking good by saying, I have no problem paying. I have no problem. Just give me a DNA test. But that's not saying that he's a good person because he did lie. You did hook up with her.
But he says he didn't.
Yeah, but he said
And
he
don't
did.
men usually brag about this type of stuff, or am I just missing something? Usually men
Not
brag
every
about
what type of
man.
stuff?
passionately
But,
hugging people.
Not
No,
every.
not anymore.
I mean, there's different types of people. There's different types of
Yeah.
people out there. So, I mean, usually when guys at least in the world that I grew up in, the level of bragging you would get was body count. It wouldn't be this person or that person. It's like, whatever your number. You know what I'm saying? But
back in our day, though, because I just recently came across that back in my day, body count is not the definition back then that it is now.
It sure isn't.
Well, young people nowadays don't even care about body count. It's not a real thing to them.
That definition changed over the years, everybody. When I was growing up, body count means something totally different than it does now.
Well, I don't know what it meant to you.
Today, body count means how many have you killed, not actually hugged.
But I thought that was the
I'm a suburbanite, and also my brother was a street dude, a hood dude, and what I learned was you don't ever brag about how many people you didn't turned over that you didn't retire. Ever. Why would you ever? That's how you end up in jail somewhere. That's just dumb.
Let's face the facts that I also lived in a neighborhood where everybody wasn't complete Harvard grads. They brag about
I'm not saying that.
It is stuff I've ever heard. You're the
I
same.
get it.
You're the same person who you lived in the projects with your mama, but somehow you was able to buy an $80,000 car with $20,000 rims, and everybody's looking at you like, but I don't sell drugs.
You the lie.
Okay, bro. Okay.
I got this money off my barbering work. You lying?
Okay, bro. If you say so.
Yeah, I feel you. But anyway, every context matters. So I guess if you're talking to a bunch of dudes who are flying their flags, body count mean one thing. But if you're talking to dudes who are talking about their exploits with women, it means something different. And generally, guys don't even care about body counts amongst guys. Body count is something that's always been used to limit the woman. So, you know what I'm saying? Yo, she got 12 bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna mess with her. She the jump off. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it was used for. At least where I was coming from.
Well, that's kind of what it is now. And it's no different. I mean, just because we gave a definition of a body count now to it, it's always been like that. The guy can go out there and do whatever he want to with how many women that he want, and it's a conquering thing. A woman could have that same number, and
or
it's
a higher
the most
number.
great words that's coming out of other people's mouth.
It amazes me how some men
Trace.
expect to marry virgins and don't expect their woman to be experienced. I've always found that to be if you sleeping with them, they can't be. If they was when they met you, they not gonna be active. Like, how do you that kind of equation?
So a big part of that, in my opinion, is when we celebrate things in a very different way based on. I wanna limit it to like education and finance, like class, but some of it permeates each level, but it's just concentrated differently. Like, I grew up with the expectation of my dad taught me what it is to be a man. What are the responsibilities of manhood? Therefore, it was a requirement for me and my brother, despite all the other nonsense that we might do growing up, we knew, or we had a definition of what it means to be a man. And that one day you're going to be someone's husband. And if that's the case, these are the standards you must meet there. Like, that's the path that I was taught. But then I watched other dudes around me, and especially when they have a son and a daughter, or they just have sons, conversation is so much different. And the women do it. You know what I'm saying? The moms be big on it too. Where it's like, oh, little man, he's so mannish and stuff like that. And I'm like, don't you understand what you're doing you're not pushing your child towards a responsibility track. You just being entertained by his ability to navigate the game. He's 6, you know, like, you know, so it's unfortunate, right? I would love for more men to be taught every woman ain't worth your time, and
Thank you. Say that
your
again.
name and your bloodline should be the most important thing to you because you ain't got nothing but your name and your blood. At the end of the day, that's what you got as a man, right? So stand on that, protect that, right? Don't just plant your seed in every hole that you can find. And then on the other side, we do a great job of telling our women how to say no because you have to. Unfortunately, with girls, by the time they're 10 years old, they're being hit on by 40-year-old men.
Yep.
So girls are taught early how to avoid, but boys are encouraged to go
To
chase.
pursue. Yep.
And I'm like, yes, ultimately you do need to be able to chase, but you need to be able to take care of what you capture. So we missing a whole part of the game where we're not teaching our boys, don't bother chasing until you get your weight up to take care of what you go get. You know what I'm saying? And we keep missing that. But then we also have a new dynamic as well that layer on top of that. I'm a woman, I don't need to be taken care of, and blah, 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 blah. And that's cool. Once again, it comes back to everybody ain't for everybody.
Yep.
So if you want a tradition, I'm going to pivot just a little bit because I have said this to some of my dudes. I'm like, fellas, check this out. Growing up, Marlon, you might remember this, right? We grew up, and I'm not saying this is right, y'all. This is how we were taught. 2 types of women. Type of woman you play with, type of woman you keep. 2. That's it. And the woman that you keep, you protect that. So if you're not ready to actually be with that girl, you don't even step to that girl. Usually that girl had a big brother or a collection of guy friends that surrounded her anyway, that you weren't going to go mess with her if you weren't real no way, right? It's like you protected a certain type of woman. Now the ones that are out there for the streets and they wide open, that's for everybody. Go play with that. That's for everybody to play with. But them good girls, you leave them alone. And the reason I was taught that was because even though you're not ready for her, you don't want to go messing her up so that when you are ready, there won't be women like her around. You know what I'm saying? But these dudes now, they look at the good girls as easy stomping grounds. Let's go get the good girl because she don't know no better. And I'm like, if you're going to go through life, pardon my French, shitting on every woman that you come across, how dare you turn around and act surprised that they all smell funny?
She should have stayed pure for me. Boy, if you don't shut up.
Right? You've been shitting on women your whole life. But now you're supposed to go find this pristine girl over here who just been sitting on the shelf waiting for your sorry behind? Come on, man.
I'm going to go off of what you said. He should have stayed pure for me.
I have literally had men say that mess to me. I'm like, get out of my face.
Here's the deal, guys, and y'all need to go ahead and find this out really, really quick in life. I have no problem with you having self-esteem. We literally looked at a story of what happens when you don't. But there's a difference between having self-esteem and arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have been dealing with the easy of the easy, and it's late, so I don't have time to try to find words to make you feel less, as Thea say, icky. If you have been dealing with a group of women who have just made your life real easy because all you got to do is look at them and flash your smile, and the next thing you know, you got yet another hotel badge in your wallet, and then next thing you know, you don't roll up on a real woman who you don't accidentally fell in love with, but she just not quite what you thought the woman that you was going to fall in love with was. That's a you problem, bro. Not a her problem. She ain't got to change a damn thing in her life to compliment you.
Thank you.
That was a you problem. Get your shit together before when you decided you want to settle now.
Didn't
the
we
thing
do a
about that,
story about that one time though, where the guy was like, he divorced her, he was cheating on her the whole time, and he said, "You weren't a virgin when we got married."
Yeah.
But they was living together. I'm like,
But
dude,
you
if you
married
don't
her, but you
shut
married her.
up.
but there's so many layers to that. One layer is we like what I was rambling on a moment ago. We got to do a better job of raising our boys. You know, raise your boys with the intention of them being men. That's the first one. We do a decent job of raising our girls to become women. We got to teach our boys to become men. Don't wait until your 20s to grow up. Start growing up from the day that you're born so that you can get them ready for each phase of their life as they get older. We have to start doing that, but we don't. And then on the other side of it, I don't know how we'll ever get to it because it's so baked in after thousands of years of humanity. This sense of ownership crap. If you can't get a man to understand that he doesn't own a woman, everything else we're talking about is moot,
Yeah.
right? But it's funny though, because even y'all sometimes pick on me, but it's probably because of my own little way of proclivities of who I am. But a lot of that boils down to the fact that I do not own anyone, and no one owns me, and so that's why I can drop somebody so easily. That's why I can walk away from a long-term relationship and not be destroyed. That all because I don't own anybody. I'm not entitled to any of it. Right? While it makes sense, we're together. When it no longer makes sense, even if it's because you decided it doesn't make sense, then we're not together. It's just that's what it is. But while we're together, I'm 100% committed to this thing that we made a promise and to focus on. That's it. But people want to go through life thinking they own somebody. Like, how dare you want to leave me? You'll never be able to leave me. Oh no, this till death. No, this till
No,
it's over.
when I say it's over, it's over.
All right, everybody. Oh, Anna, did you have anything? Or you're quickly fading.
I'm here.
All right. Foxy's videos of the week. I just found this video kind of cute because I kind of want me and Foxy to be like this when we get at our older age, you know, our 60s and 70s and 80s. I still want to have that playful thing. I just thought the video was cute. It was nothing gonna be, well, never mind with this group. We can make everything deep. It's not deep. It was just funny to me. It's so cute to me. It's like,
I mean, I guess pouring water on people's faces when they're asleep is funny.
Yeah, to each their own.
Yeah, okay, I guess.
That would happen.
Go ahead and try to drown her in sleep. So.
I mean, she was just sleeping and everything, but no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I guess her peacefulness is bothering him. So.
So do you want to be in a relationship where you're still playing pranks?
Yeah, he must have grown out of that.
Yes, I actually do. I want to be in a relationship where we still have fun with each other. Simple little.
Was she having fun? Was she having fun?
Yeah, she was laughing at the end. Yes, she was.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought she was asleep. No, I thought she was asleep.
Yeah, and she laughed at the joke at the end.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see that part. You just saw her.
No. I just want to make sure that we're saying that because the person who received the treatment chuckles, that is an acquiescence to what preceded it. I just want to make sure that a laugh means everything's all right, as opposed to could be a nervous laugh or it could just be a shrugging it off laugh. But hey, these are now me. What I want to do when I go is still walk around and just randomly grab your booty. So that would be me in my
That's
old
better.
age.
That's
Just
much better than
you know,
pouring water on me when I'm asleep. And don't let me be in that good, that good sleep. Like, that good sleep you be getting, and you be like, and you hit somebody because they wake you up sleep. Oh, nah, we can ready to fight. We can ready to fight.
but and also to be fair to you, Marla, it all comes down to the type of relationship that you feel comfortable in. I'm not used to a pranking relationship. Like my wife
Me
doesn't prank me and I don't prank her. We act silly around each other, but we don't prank each other. Like that's not our sense of fun. So if you guys kind of like prank each other, stuff like that, because I have friends who have those types of relationships, and you will hope something like that never dies, because that's part of how you play with each other. You know what I'm saying? So I can dig it that way, but you pour some water on me while I'm asleep,
We gonna
whether I
fight.
laugh or not, we about to have a hard time for a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hard time.
I might laugh because the family's around me, so I'm gonna let this. Oh, you got me. Woo, woo. Well, you know you fucked up, right? Woo!
Yep. Yep. Be like, ha ha ha.
Next video. For the love of everything. I want you to pay attention to the beginning of the video. Because if you watch the beginning of the video, the end of the video, well, or I should say that backwards. Watch the ending of the video, because if you watch the ending of the video, the beginning of the video really just doesn't make any sense. Again, this is like 12 seconds, so I'm not going to take anybody down. But just remember the ending of the video, the beginning of the video, and tell me why this whole video just doesn't make sense.
That's cute.
So,
Wonderful video editing.
so you caught the bottle so it wouldn't hit the kid. Then at the end you duck so it hits the kid. I'm so confused.
Didn't
Because
duck.
yeah, the kids should have been watching and learning this whole time. This is a
Mhm.
training opportunity. And then you also had a situation where it went this way and it came back that way. It was like ping pong, tennis type thing, right? Then the last time it was ricocheting off of stuff, so it caught dude kind of unprepared, so he had to duck, get out the way. But Timmy was too slow on his feet, so he had to eat one.
His name
You
was
know,
Timmy.
I had to give him a name. I'm going with Timmy.
Everybody goes for Timmy. Yeah.
Paul knew the drop. Paul was like, all right, that one I can't catch. Let me get out the way.
Timmy or Johnny, so it's one of the two names. Little Timmy or Little Johnny.
Now, if he was wearing a bow tie, I would call him Little Chadwick or something like that. But
Yeah, Chadwick.
I'm going to go with Timmy.
All right. Okay.
Mute.
No, she was saying she'll be right back. But this is the last video of the night. Tracy, I know I've been showing some videos of some cute babies and everything like that. Baby fever. But whose baby is this? And I'm going to play it when Anna gets back, too, just in case she did step away. But whose baby is this?
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize.
Little boys are something else, man. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow. Was that?
Oh, my gosh. He realized he could do something. He was like, I'm on this.
Like,
that baby was chunky.
I would lose my shit. I'm sorry. I really would. I would just like, I'm that father. I'm really that father. The older you get, the less I'm likely to like, look, bro, you just gonna have to go through some shit. So sorry. But as a baby, nah. So Anna, here's the last video that I showed.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize.
And who thought of that music to go with that? That's just.
Oh, it fits what he was doing. That was.
I'm thankful God gave me girls because I just
That baby was cute and chubby.
most of them are them little
Most are.
roly-poly.
Yeah,
It don't
you would
matter.
wanna. I want to say yes, but.
All right, everybody. Whew.
Excuse me.
It has.
Most babies, the majority. I'll say the majority. Because if you saw my baby pic, oh my gosh, I'm like, whoo.
Do you remember that I have a light machine that kind of makes it look like they're the northern lights or southern lights on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there's a feature. You can press a button, and if you speak near it, the little Martian guy, he looks like Marvin the Martian to me, he will speak back to you. I'm guessing that my nephew was playing with that, because when I was like before, I couldn't figure out what was going on. My dog was barking, and it kept barking back at her. And so she would get more upset and bark.
Wow. That was the barking in the background?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Well,
Apologies.
this is the last show of the month. And Foxy is still not here. So, an oldie but a goodie.
Why, yes, I'm an evil left-wing sheeple snowflake working for the deep state here to force your wives to get abortions and then leave you for transgender lesbians. Yes, it was us Antifa that stormed the Capitol to make you all look bad so that we can take your guns, spread communism, and blast Cardi B in your churches. And you're never gonna stop us, no, 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 you're never.
I enjoy her joy.
But
That's the
I'm
worst
gonna
lip
play
syncing
that,
I
and I
have
have to
ever
play
seen.
the other one then, too.
I'm assuming you're Legibitqua until you come out to me as straight.
What? I now wish to be referred to as Legibitqua. Yep, that's happening now. Let's Legibitqua. Feels so bougie. I'm a member of the Legibitqua. No. I love it. Legibitqua, y'all! You made my day!
I do like that one.
I like the
second one.
longer version. Because the lady who, oh yeah, I would like to be with Legibitqua. She's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we convened the council. We agreed. Yes.
And tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me at BrilliantEtc.com, Brilliant Etc. on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
Yes.
You can find me on Our United Core on Facebook, and also the Our United Core podcast on Spotify. And next episode comes out on Tuesday. Yeah.
Tracy.
You can find all of my videos, one of which I dropped today at TracyMediaLLC.com. Thank you all for dropping some positive notes about the Tuesday show. I'm really having a great time doing it. I'll be live Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah!
Wow.
But not for long, but I got some stuff I gotta say.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're Legibitqua.
I appreciate Anna, I appreciate Piers, I appreciate Tracy. And until next time, we will see you. We see you. Peace.
Legitimate claw, y'all.
At the Red House.
Oh,
Where
shit.
black people and white people bought furniture. And everybody.